Hello, I'm here to talk to you today about my recently completed PhD on people's use of the gay dating app Grindr for tourism. Alternative tourism strategies are especially relevant in light of the travel industry's disruption by coronavirus. Dating apps' new Explore features enable you to change your location and be abroad on Grindr from the comfort of your own home. This could mean for many during the current pandemic, dating app tourism will be relied on even more to create international connections and simulate the feeling of travel. Unlike traditional dating websites, dating apps are image-based, location-based, and mobile. Grindr is the world's largest dating app aimed at gay men. Here's what Grindr looks like aesthetically for those who are not familiar with it. You have the home screen, profile, and chat screen. I define Grindr tourism as the use of Grindr as part of a touristic experience. Grindr tourism can entail a bundle of practices. Here's the research question and theoretical approach taken. I used a qualitative mixed methods approach, which included semi-structured interviews and optional audio diaries, which are depicted in the PowerPoint image. 19 participants took part. Mutual exoticization was a key aspect of Grindr relations. The tourist narrative of Israelis as exotic is not a post-colonial, unidirectional perception of Israelis as exotic, while tourists are not. As we can see from the PowerPoint quote from Sagi, what is exotic to him is normal to an Israeli, and vice versa. Mutual exoticization is coded visually through images and actions on Grindr. For example, flag emojis are used to represent countries of origin or languages spoken. The aesthetic embodiment of relative exoticism results in an increase of attention on Grindr. Many tourists perceive the Israeli locals to be particularly attractive, tied to their supposed masculinity, exoticism, and ethnicity. As Shane summarizes, everyone in Tel Aviv is a muscle god. Tourists' visual descriptions of locals present an image of Israeli gay men as muscular, attractive, tan, and most of all, masculine. Tourist participants unknowingly describe aesthetics associated with a particular local Israeli ethnicity, one of many, called Mizrahi. The Mizrahi look is a hegemonic masculinity, or an idealized masculinity at the top of a gender hierarchy. Part of the hegemonic Israeli masculinity is also related to being in the military, as we can see from Tomer's quote on the PowerPoint that in Israeli society, masculinity is very connected to the army. Locals will sometimes even put pictures of themselves in uniform on Grindr to highlight their masculine appeal. But some locals are unhappy with the strict visual presentations of masculinity in Israel. For some, Grindr is a site for resistance of these masculine ideals, as well as the construction of them. Participants do so through visual presentations of themselves as more feminine. Examples include wearing skinny jeans or makeup in their profile photos. Another strategy is emphasizing femininity in one's profile tagline, despite visually conforming to the masculine ideal in profile pictures, as we can see in the PowerPoint quote. For the locals that do not visually adhere to hegemonic Mizrahi masculinity and express it on Grindr, there's more of a struggle compared to other countries such as the USA, where there is more variety of gender expression on Grindr. Grindr is a space in which masculinities and gender regimes are negotiated. Conclusions made about the case study can be applied to other liminal tourist destinations that do not fit neatly into post-colonial binaries. Bounded gender presentations and aesthetics of hegemonic Mizrahi masculinity are implicated in the mutual exoticization underpinning tourist local Grindr relations, which can sometimes be detrimental for locals. Grindr tourism relies on an initial, virtual, and visual exotic encounter between tourists and locals. The visual is therefore paramount for the formation of relations. Thank you for your attention.